A bright blue system window suddenly appears in front of Sijuan's eyes. The first line identifies the item as the Ice Cube Holy Stone. Another line appears underneath, explaining that the Ice Cube Holy Stone is a fragment of a star that has fallen from the sky. More information quickly follows. The system explains that by supplying mana to the Holy Stone, its owner can control the power of ice. It also states that if the owner is ever in danger, the Holy Stone will automatically encase them in ice to protect them. The owner is listed as Tower Farmer Park Sijuan. His grade is S+, and it requires at least 100 mana to use. As Sijuan reads the description, his eyes widen in surprise. He wonders if it really means that he can control the power of ice by supplying mana. To make sure he has not misunderstood, he reads the line again. The words remain exactly the same. Curiosity immediately fills his face. Thinking that he should test it himself, Sijuan carefully holds the Holy Stone in his hand and injects a small amount of mana into it. The air around him instantly becomes freezing cold. Crack! A gigantic block of ice suddenly appears out of nowhere and slams heavily onto the ground. Startled by the sudden sight, Sijuan quickly jumps backward. Then his expression brightens with excitement. He is amazed that it actually works. Looking at the huge ice cube, he rubs his chin thoughtfully and wonders if he can mix the ice with other things and create different frozen treats. A few minutes later, he begins experimenting again. This time, he focuses on making something smaller. Soon, a much smaller chunk of ice forms perfectly in front of him. His eyes sparkle with excitement when he sees that it has worked exactly as he intended. Nearby, Kung immediately notices the strange frozen object. He calls out curiously. Smiling, Sijuan breaks off a small piece and offers it to him, telling him to try it. Kung carefully accepts the piece. The moment he tastes it, his eyes widen. He exclaims that it is cold. A second later, his face becomes filled with happiness. He happily declares that it is sweet, cool, and the best thing he has ever tasted. Sijuan laughs and replies that he expected Kung to like it. The bear cub continues happily munching on the icy treat. Sijuan then turns his attention toward the small monkey sitting on his shoulder and asks whether it wants some as well. The monkey immediately nods excitedly. Seeing that everyone seems interested, Sijuan stands up and loudly calls for everyone to wait a moment. His voice echoes across the farm as he repeats the call. The monkeys quickly gather around him. Meanwhile, Theo looks suspiciously at Iona. He asks where she suddenly got the Holy Stone. Iona gives a mysterious smile and explains that she found it by chance at the bottom of the abandoned mine. Her smile widens slightly as she adds that she managed to obtain it thanks to one of her subordinates. Theo's ears immediately twitch. He quickly asks whether something happened. Iona narrows her eyes and replies that who knows. A dangerous smile briefly appears on her face as she explains that she is planning to meet that subordinate personally and have a little conversation with him. The moment Theo hears that, a chill runs down his spine. He asks whether she is already leaving. Iona nods and tells him that they will meet again on the 99th floor. With those words, she floats away. Theo watches her disappear into the distance. As he stares after her, he quietly thinks that her eyes look absolutely terrifying for a moment. Meanwhile, Sijuan finishes preparing frozen fruit treats for everyone. Holding one high above his head, he calls for everyone to gather around. The monkeys instantly rush toward him. Sijuan cheerfully announces that they should all eat together and beat the heat. The monkeys immediately erupt into loud cheers. Excited cries fill the area. One monkey takes too large a bite and dramatically grabs its head in pain. Another monkey quickly licks its frozen fruit to avoid the same fate. A moment later, Kung suddenly grabs his forehead and complains that he has a brain freeze. The surrounding monkeys burst into laughter. Watching the scene, Theo immediately raises his paw and asks Chairman Park to make some frozen treats using churu as well. Black Tower, 90th floor. Gravity Magic Tower. Inside the tower, a group of shocked mages stands gathered around Genoba. One mage looks completely pale as he asks Vice Tower Master Genoba whether the story is really true. His voice trembles as he expresses disbelief that their tower master, Lady Iona, has died. Genoba lowers his head and pretends to wipe tears from his eyes. Between fake sobs, he explains that the tragedy happened in the abandoned mine where they went to search for the Holy Stone. He dramatically claims that unstable magic stones triggered a chain explosion. The surrounding mages gasp in shock. Genoba continues his performance, saying that Lady Iona saved him, but was buried beneath the collapsing rubble. Several mages cry out in disbelief. One elderly mage staggers backward and declares that such a thing is impossible because Lady Iona is the strongest mage in the Black Tower. Genoba sadly nods and claims that he can hardly believe the reality himself. However, one elder narrows his eyes suspiciously. He calmly asks whether Genoba is absolutely certain. Genoba freezes for a brief moment. The elder continues by asking whether he personally confirmed that Lady Iona is truly dead. For an instant, Irritation flashes across Genoba's face. He loudly insists that an entire rocky mountain collapsed and that there is no way she could have survived. Then he angrily asks whether they think he would lie about such a thing. The elder calmly shakes his head. He replies that nobody has accused him of lying. Before the elder can finish, Genoba quickly interrupts him. Letting out a dramatic sigh, he turns away and declares that he needs to hurry and report the incident to the Mage Association. After a short pause, he adds that although the situation is tragic, it is his responsibility as the new Tower Master of Gravity. The room instantly falls silent. No one responds. Genoba then politely excuses himself. Step. He walks away confidently. After he disappears, one mage hesitantly asks the elder whether they should begin preparing the coronation ceremony to appoint Genoba as the new Tower Master. The elder remains silent for a long time. Finally, he thoughtfully replies that they should take their time with the preparations. The room becomes quiet again. Everyone understands what he means. There is no need to rush. Back on the 77th floor, peace has returned to the banana farm. The two giant oxen happily chew banana leaves. One of them picks up another leaf and curiously examines it. After taking a bite, it immediately declares that the banana leaf is delicious. Nearby, Sijuan smiles. He announces that since everyone has finished their snack, it is time to revive the trees. The monkeys quickly nod in agreement. Meanwhile, Theo secretly glances toward the distant Crimson Mountain. His front paw twitches once again. The familiar pulling sensation has returned. While everyone else is distracted, Theo quietly slips away. As he walks, he mutters that he knew it. His paw continues trembling. He can still feel it reacting to the mountain. His eyes gleam greedily. The pull is incredibly strong. A huge grin spreads across his face as he becomes convinced that the mountain is hiding a valuable treasure. He imagines himself discovering a legendary treasure before anyone else. In his imagination, Chairman Park praises only him. Thinking about it makes him laugh loudly. He declares that he will find the treasure first and monopolize all of Chairman Park's affection. His laughter echoes through the jungle. Suddenly, a voice comes from directly behind him. The voice repeats the word treasure. Theo nearly jumps into the air. Spinning around in shock, he discovers Kung standing there. He quickly asks when Kung started following him. Kung tilts his head and excitedly asks whether there is really a treasure. His eyes sparkle as he adds that a treasure hunt sounds fun. Theo stares at him for a moment. Then he thoughtfully rubs his chin. He admits to himself that he is actually a little scared about exploring the forest alone. Since Kung is already there, things work out perfectly. Pointing dramatically ahead, Theo suggests that they combine their strength and search for the treasure together. Kung happily agrees. The pair immediately set off on their adventure. Theo tells him not to fall behind. Kung enthusiastically promises to keep up. Back at the farm, Sijuan suddenly looks around. He remembers that he wants to ask Theo about the mango and watermelon seeds that the monkeys found. Then he pauses. Theo is nowhere to be seen. Confused, Sijuan wonders where he has gone. One monkey looks around and points out that Iona and Kung have also been missing for quite a while. Another monkey scratches his head and guesses that they might all be taking a nap somewhere in the storage room. Deep inside the jungle, Theo continues leading the expedition. He confidently states that there is no doubt anymore. His twitching paw is guiding him toward a treasure. A moment later, Kung comes running back while carrying a glowing blue stone. Excitedly, he asks if that is the treasure. Theo carefully examines it before shaking his head. He explains that it is merely a magic stone containing a tiny amount of mana. Such stones can easily be found on many other floors. Kung looks disappointed. Theo crosses his arms and explains that a real treasure should create a powerful spark of excitement. Kung immediately salutes and promises to search for a real spark. A few minutes later, he comes running back again. This time he proudly announces that he has found a real spark and presents his discovery. Theo looks down and nearly shouts. Kung is holding a giant monster bone. Theo explains that it is only a bone and not a treasure. Kung immediately runs off again. Soon afterward, he returns carrying another object. He asks whether it is the real spark. Theo stares at it before explaining that it is only a rock shaped like a shoe. Undeterred, Kung runs off once more. Several minutes later, he returns again. This time he proudly announces that he has found another spark. Theo turns around. Then he freezes. Kung is dragging an enormous snake behind him. Panicking, Theo shouts for him to throw it away immediately. The snake hisses angrily. Kung sadly lets it go. Lowering his head, he complains that treasure hunting is difficult. Theo sighs and replies that treasures would not be treasures if they were easy to find. Hearing that, Kung immediately smiles. He happily says that it is still fun because he is doing it together with big brother Theo. Theo blinks in surprise. A warm smile slowly appears on his face. At that exact moment, His paw suddenly smacks against a nearby boulder. His eyes widen. Excitement explodes inside him. He declares that they have finally found it. Kung gasps and asks whether Theo has discovered a real spark. Theo dramatically points forward and announces that he has found an enormous spark. Then he points directly at the massive boulder and asks whether Kung can break it. Without hesitation, Kung transforms. His body rapidly expands into a gigantic red bear. With a thunderous roar, he smashes his huge fist into the boulder. Boom! The rock splits neatly into two halves. Then both of them freeze. The inside of the boulder is completely hollow. Dozens of glowing purple orbs spill out across the ground. Theo's eyes become as large as saucers. He excitedly shouts that this is it. Unable to contain himself, he practically dances with excitement. He repeatedly declares that they have finally found the treasure. The glowing purple orbs shimmer beautifully beneath the forest light, filling the area with a mysterious glow. Theo grabs Kung's paws and happily jumps around. He excitedly announces that their treasure hunt has been a complete success. His tail sways wildly back and forth. He proudly says that they found the treasure together. Picking up one of the glowing purple orbs, Theo holds it toward the sky. The mysterious energy radiating from it is extraordinary. A proud smile spreads across his face as he becomes certain that Chairman Park will absolutely love this treasure.